Welcome to Only Bourbon Fans. How we doing, fellas?
Ready to drink.
Good.
Ready to drink? We're starting this little video and show to do nothing but talk about bourbon because that's what we do. I'm Zack.
I'm Chris.
I'm Albert, and I like bourbon.
And I'm Vinnie, the other ginger.
We got too many gingers here. I'm currently drinking Michter's small batch straight bourbon. What do you guys got going right now? Googs?
Bit of Yellowstone. This is a single barrel hand-picked collection by the state of New Hampshire.
Nice. Albert?
I got the Knob Creek single barrel, the Pennsylvania fine wine and spirits barrel pick.
Matthew?
Woodford double oaked. A little creative double oak kind of night.
Nice.
Vinny, what are you cooking up over there?
Right now, I have some TX in a decanter. I'm about getting ready to open up this bottle of Wolcott that I have too.
Nice.
What the TX is in the glass right now?
The TX is in a decanter.
Nice.
In my drinking glass?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Vinny,
Yes.
how did you get into bourbon?
Probably when I got out of college, to be honest with you. It was more so of just drinking heavily in college and drinking whatever we can get our hands on. And then you start making your own money and start realizing what good stuff is. I think the first decent bottle of bourbon that I had was probably a Woodford at a family party. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was, not something that I had to gag down for once in my life. And then from there, the ball just got rolling. Just kept drinking more. We had Albert's bachelor party in Kentucky, had a little bit more of a appreciation for what it is. And now I'm full-blown bourbaholic.
Nice. Trademark it.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I did not like, I guess I'm a late bloomer. I did not really like drinking whiskey other than taking a quick shot at the bar.
Good practice.
And it had to have been Fireball, right?
Mhm.
But my dad was trying to get me to drink it because when he was working in Kentucky, he fell in love with like Four Roses, and I tried it a couple times and I could not do it. But for Albert's bachelor party, I bought Woodford and Bullet because that's where we were going to tasting. So I was like, I'll start there. And for 2 months straight, I just drank it every night, and that finally grew on me. And then, like you said, at his bachelor party and going on the tours, I like definitely appreciated it more. And I like the tasting experiences were eye-opening.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know what you're finally tasting for once
So
instead of
when
just.
you said Fireball, did you mean rare breed?
Yes.
Dude, that had to be the single most hits on that page all day, all week.
That's awesome. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I don't really know, honestly. I was always like a Jack and Coke guy through college. I think it just evolved to, drinking whiskey / bourbon on the rocks. And then the bachelor party really kind of just kicked things off from there. I was a Knob and Woodford guy just on the rocks, but ever since going to Kentucky, right, and just expanding all the options that are out there and really kind of bought into, no pun intended, right, bought into all the bourbon game here.
Yeah. Who's the biggest spender here right now?
Probably Albert.
Albert.
All right. Well, all right. Googs, what about you?
My first bottle, I would say, I think was a single barrel Four Roses, and it was pretty damn good. And I actually started watching a documentary on I think it was Hulu about like bourbon tasting and stuff, and it had like Buffalo Trace on there. I was like, yeah, I could get into this and kind of think Woodford was my second bottle I bought, and it kind of just rolled on from there. I was not one of the ones that got to go to Albert's bachelor party, which would have been sick. But yeah, now it's just expanding a collection and it's, doing it with some good friends and talking about it, and that helps a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm last, right?
Cheers.
I didn't go.
Oh, I thought you talked about rare
It
breeds.
just
so
means,
I
it
thought
just
you were
means we
done.
can drink more. That's all good.
I've been drinking Beam since college. That's all I know.
That's all you remember, right?
All the Beams, except for this one tonight.
All right. So I guess what got you into wanting to like try other bourbons? Like,
So going back to Beam, actually, I didn't know anything about what I was drinking, but I knew that that's something I liked. Back then I was like, got all excited when I saw Devil's Cut at the store, and I don't know, it was probably just good branding because I didn't know what the heck any of that meant. But Jim Beam Devil's Cut, the Ghost, it was their white whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was always into trying those, but I didn't know what the difference was between any of them. Now here we are.
I wish I would have listened to
Full blown
Albert.
Bourbaholic.
Bourbaholic. Yeah. Only bourbon fans.
Only bourbon fans.
So I guess the big picture here, we're doing this show. If people actually watch this and follow us and want to listen to us, we just want to talk bourbon, and we don't want to be drinking this mixers. I cannot totally smell the vanilla or whatever is in there. I just know that it tastes pretty good and I don't mind it. So we figured we'd open up a new kind of show here for people more like us. After we've been listening to other people, not anything against them, I just don't know how they taste what they taste sometimes, and it becomes a lot for me. So anybody get a good haul what were the good hauls that we posted last week?
You want me to go? I'll go.
Go ahead.
All right. I fell in love with Booker's. So I've been on the hunt to try and find some of the old batches. This weekend I went, did a little traveling. I got the 2203. Back up a little bit. 2203.
Which one is that?
That's a good one to show
Which
off
that?
right there.
Take it out of the box.
Does your wife know you have that one?
Oh yeah, she's here. So this one's the Kentucky tea.
Okay.
And I think that I've had this a couple times now. I think that one out of the few that I've had are my favorite. Pinky's was the first one I had, and as soon as I tried it, I went back the next day and bought a second bottle.
How much did you pay for those?
So Booker's, if you get this MSRP, it's going to cost you somewhere between $100 and $110 probably,
Yeah.
depending on what state you're in.
And the one do you remember the one I showed you this weekend when I was at the store? They had that for $250.
Yeah, that was one of these, right?
I think so. But that was obviously high.
Yeah.
If I were loaded,
I think that was the lumber yard.
yeah.
2202. So they make 4 batches of this a year. I guess they've done a couple specials with the little book, and I think that there was an anniversary version. But it's very high proof. You probably it bites a little bit, but you wouldn't know that it's 124 proof is what these are. 124 and 126.5. And then the newest Booker's just got to Pennsylvania. Hasn't made it here locally yet. For those of you who don't live in Pennsylvania and don't know how that works, it gets to different parts of the state. But once one store gets it, the other stores usually get it within about a week. So we might get it. We might get it tomorrow, is what I would guess.
Yeah, what you guys have been talking about in the chat, our group chat, there's new rules, like they can't tell you what's out or what were you
Yeah,
guys
you used to be, so they don't, there's no heads up when something's coming, but lately stores around Pittsburgh have been getting shipments first. So we're in a bunch of Facebook groups and we know some people around the state. We're keeping tabs with each other. So when you see something hit a store in Pittsburgh, we race out to our store the next delivery day. So we've been 1 or 2 delivery days behind Pittsburgh lately. So they got bookers last week, so I'm expecting to maybe get it tomorrow.
That's strategic planning at its
You,
best.
you got to know the system. There was also the online page. There was a drop today. Eagle Rare, Weller. There was 30 bottles of Blanton's maybe. What else was there, Heisey?
1792 was on there, which again I don't feel like is actually special.
Yeah, and if in other states, that's not hard to get.
I was gonna ask you about that because I was like, I've heard the full proof is good, and they have a single barrel.
Mhm.
I see the small batch all the time.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
readily.
bought it yet.
Yeah, if the full proof was on there, I know I would have been on that. I think Heisey was probably looking out for that too.
Yeah, that was those I had in my cart, and then you go to check out and it tells you nope.
You
Inventory.
gotta be fast. You gotta
Yep.
be fast.
Albert, do you know what I don't want to say this. What was so special about the Booker's special anniversary that it like was double the MSRP? Was that just marketing?
It was double the MSRP in Pennsylvania or somewhere else.
So I was at the little Queen Street store today, and I was just curious if they get Booker's, right? Because expecting that to come in tomorrow. And so she looked it up, and special anniversary came up for $200. No, they didn't have it, right? It just was in their system as out of stock. But I was curious if you know why it's.
I don't know a lot about it. I was on a site and I came up and I saw it. It was like a 30th anniversary of something. I'm not sure what it was though. I don't know the full story behind it. But you know, those things could all be marketing.
It's kind of crazy though, because I feel like, you know, like Pennsylvania and here up in New Hampshire, you know, most liquor stores, like the state stores, are going to be MSRP. So for them to mark it up is kind of weird, because, you know, that's the reason why I use the store in Vermont that I have right now, is because they can mark it up because they're not really state run like Pennsylvania and New Hampshire, and they still sell everything MSRP, which is great.
So I think what Heisey's saying is that it was MSRP at $200.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that one specifically just was a much higher price.
gotcha.
Which means it was probably triple in New Jersey.
Well, Jersey stinks. Sorry.
Yeah, where's everybody living right now? I'm in Rochester, New York. Vinnie, you're.
I'm in stinky New Jersey,
Yep. Where Jersey?
right outside of Philadelphia,
Yeah.
about 15 minutes in the suburbs.
Matt, where are you?
Good old York, Pennsylvania.
York, Pennsylvania. Albert, where are you?
York, Pennsylvania.
In Googs,
Southern New Hampshire.
Southern New Hampshire. Googs, you have a good haul or any bottle last couple month or so?
I was able to snag a bottle of Stag up in Vermont, which is
Jealous.
what's that?
I'm jealous.
Man, if I'm hoping next week they have another few bottles or whatever. But I walked in there, they had Stag, they had Eagle Rare, and apparently they didn't let me know that they had Blanton's. And a coworker of mine snagged the Blanton's a day later. So
Did you ask?
I did not, because I was kind of happy with the haul that I got, and I actually got Albert a bottle of the Little Book that I've yet to get to him.
I haven't had it.
I think you should just drink it.
Add to
Dude.
the collection. You should open it. You should open it and take a sip before you give it to me.
All right, maybe
You know, a little, like a tax,
just
small tax.
Interest.
I accept it. I get taxed out the ass by the government.
Isn't that what bourbon's for? Is to share with friends?
It is. It is. I can totally do that. Maybe on a another video, Zoom. But yeah, I got that. Like I said, the Yellowstone was kind of a new release around New Hampshire. I think Massachusetts got some. I think a lot of the New England states got this Yellowstone. So I saw that. All I see is white label all the time of the Yellowstone, and I figured I got to pick that up. So I got that. Was pretty happy with it. I've never had it before, so
The Yellowstone?
yeah. I don't know where it compares to like the other, white label, the base Yellowstone, but I would, if it tastes similar, I'd buy it as well.
And what's the bottle that you want to get right now?
So we had a follower on our Instagram page called Big Stick Bourbon, and I think it's really cool. They they do 5% of every sales to veterans as a charity, which is pretty cool. And their bottle design is they actually put a stave inside of the bottle. So then I don't know if it necessarily always ages or if it's gonna keep on getting new flavors as you drink it, but I thought it was a pretty cool design for a bottle and a good pitch. So I'm gonna try to go to the Vermont store and see how what a limit by purchases that they have to buy in order to get it up here, and see if we can make some moves with it.
I like it. I like the
I think they're Texas based.
yeah. All right, Matt, what's a good haul for you recently?
So I, due to Albert's help, was finally able to track down a Blanton's bottle. And if I'm being honest, I really don't want to be like the Blanton's fanboy like Albert over there, but it's damn good. It's a good bourbon.
You cracked it all right. Is that the one we posted on Instagram?
Yep, yeah. That's when took the whole family. We were coming back from vacation, driving the minivan with 2 kids and the wife over to Hanover, which is about 45 minutes away to to snag some bottles.
Nice.
Guess who I ran into there?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the
Whole
one you
family.
guys bumped into each other at the same. And you didn't text each other beforehand?
Oh yeah, we were texting.
Yeah, obviously.
It was not planned to meet there. It happened to be at the same time. Though.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I think mine is the Stag Junior that I got.
Mm.
I thought that was a pretty good story because Albert obviously let me know that it was releasing in New York, and I had no idea where it would be. But I think I Googled one place, and I went in there and I was looking on the shelves, and it was nowhere. And he's like, just ask them if they have any. So I went up to this old guy was walking the aisles, and I asked him. He goes, I don't know. So he walks me up to the counter, and then the guy goes, yeah, we got one in the back.
Nice.
And then he's like, the old guy brought me into the back room, and I'm like walking through these hallways, and I'm like, this is going to be like $400. I'm not buying it. And he walks me back to this shelf of all these nice bourbons. And there was the Stag for $95. And I'm like, I will take that.
95.
Little did we know.
Yeah.
That's just dumb luck. Now that I've been looking for it a lot harder, it's just dumb luck that they had it. Because no one does. And if they do, it's on the shelf for 300 plus.
Right. And that's what you were showing me. And I'm like, by the way, I'm an amateur right now. So I don't know what the heck I'm doing other than drinking it and enjoying it. But that was the first pull that I liked. I thought that was good.
Do you know what batch you had?
It's the 18, I think.
Okay, so the newer one. So it doesn't have the actual junior
Right.
on the Stag label anymore, right? Because they got rid of.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where I was confused because I didn't realize that. But yeah, Reddit.
What's that?
Reddit might have schooled me on that one. Filled me in on that.
I learned it the same way too. I was like, wait a second, does this Stag Junior? Same bottle, but it doesn't have the Junior on it. And then that's where I found out.
Yeah, and if I've noticed, if you call a store and you say, "Do you have Stag?" they'll say, "George T. Stag."
Yeah.
That's
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when I first, so, okay. And now you have to ask for, Stag Junior.
Yeah.
All right, Vinny, how about you? What's a good one you got recently?
Well, I'm a little peon compared to all you guys because I'm not spending big bucks on bourbon. So the TX bourbon that I have right now, I've probably been looking for it for a couple of years, probably about 5 or 6 years from when I had originally went down to Dallas Fort Worth for a work conference, and can't get it up here. Can't get it in New Jersey because they got some dumb laws where they can't get shipped in. I went to there's a place near us called Total Wine and More, big giant liquor store. Go in. This guy's asking me what I'm looking for. I was looking for some Stag for Albert. Didn't have any. He goes, I don't have any, but
That's a good.
you want to? He goes, you want to do a little bourbon tasting anyway? I was like, sure, why not? So he pulled out probably about 5 or 6 bottles of bourbon. This like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning when the liquor store first opened. And sure enough, he pulled out the TX. So I found that. I was happy. It wasn't bad. It's like, I think it's like $46 a bottle or something like that. So I was happy with it. Other than that, I mean, I'm just kind of, if I see something that looks good, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to grab it. I'm looking out for a lot of the big names. Like I saw the, I'll probably go back this weekend, the Bookers, the 2104 batch that Albert brought up in the chat. Probably going to go back and pick that up for him. So take a couple sips out of it before I give it to him.
You're not this peon, dude. I can't forget sitting in Woodford in that huge tasting room, and you're sitting there doing this, and you're trying to tell Motri how to do it, and sitting there.
Yeah, I've had a little experience with drinking fancy stuff. I mean, I know there's bourbon, but we went to Napa last year and drank a lot of wine. That was a lot of fun. Doesn't agree with me as well as bourbon does, though.
I would like to go to Napa.
It was a good time.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't the bourbon trail, I could tell you that.
Nope.
But the wine train gets wild. I will tell you that.
Yes, it does. Well, the Finger Lakes, the wine trail gets, yes.
That's where we're sending the wives so we can go back to Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send them to Seneca. We'll go to Louisville.
Love it.
I'm in.
All right. You guys ready to try it?
Do it.
Yeah.
So, Albert, you want to, while we pour and open these, we're going to do a tasting. Albert's got a cheat sheet. Tell us about this, why we chose it, why we're not tasting a Stag Junior or a Booker's right now.
Okay. Tonight's special is the Jim Beam Double Oak. And it says right on here, twice barreled. So you'll see a lot of things. I think that this is maybe gaining in popularity right now. Twice barreled, double oak. Woodford's obviously a big name in that. A lot of people will tell you that's their favorite regular sipper. And then there's the toasted barrel. These all mean a little bit of a different thing. Some can be both, like whiskey versus bourbon. All bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbon type of thing. So with the double oak, the bourbon is aged in 2 different sets of barrels. And double oak specifically means that they're both 2 sets of brand new barrels. So that's one of the requirements for being a bourbon, is that they do age the whiskey in a brand new barrel. Double oak is obviously two oak barrels. So when they take it out of the first barrel, they put it right into another brand new oak barrel. What's a little bit different about some of these is twice barrel could be anything. So they could barrel it in, if it's bourbon, it'll be in a brand new barrel. And then the second barrel can be finished. That's another term that's used in this. It can be finished in anything. So you'll see a lot of these cask finished, Cabernet finished. A pretty popular one is the flagship Angel's Envy, which is finished in port wine barrels. So it just gives it a little bit of a different taste. The other thing that you'll see is toasted. So in a toasted barrel, which is another thing that a lot of us have decided that we like. The second barrel, it's new, but the charring of the barrel is a little bit different. So they'll do a smaller flame, and they'll do the charring for a longer period of time. So it's like slow cooking, I guess you could call it. So gives it a little bit different taste, more of that pulling the fresh taste from the wood.
You know, maybe like 1 year ago, that would have sounded lame. Today, that sounds so beautiful right now.
Amen.
Seriously. Yeah.
So I have to come clean with something here. I just tried to open my bottle and I was sitting there yanking on the cap, like stuck in here.
So this super expensive bottle is screw top.
Yep.
Who's waiting here?
$33 for the. I got the 1 liter. $33 in New York.
Oh,
This is definitely a value pick. It was $24.99 in Pennsylvania.
yep. That's where I got mine this weekend.
1 liter or
No, $7.50.
Yep.
yeah, I went for the 1 liter.
Nice. You're committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shitty New Jersey, $7.50 is $30.99.
not bad. All right. There's a win in that.
So this specifically is a little bit lighter on proof. This is only 86 proof, so 43%. I think for a lot of the stuff that we've been drinking recently, it's very low, but I mean, it tastes great.
And for your wedding day down in the Key Largo Walgreens, we saw this, right? For like $15 or something.
Yeah. Yep.
We
That was
never,
the first time. That was the first time we had it.
I
and
never had it.
it's the first time Vinny's ever had it too. But that was the funny part was we had no idea, or I had no idea that Walgreens had a liquor store.
Every state's different.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine just sent me a store that he said that we need to check out the next time we're in Baltimore. It is a pharmacy and a liquor store. So that just goes to show you the difference of Maryland, where it could be wine, liquor, beer, bar, and grocery store, restaurant. It could be anything. And apparently pharmacy too. You can get your pills and your booze.
I think they have Four Locos down there still too.
Or pharmaceuticals. Different kind.
The old ones, Matt,
Yeah, the OGs.
with gasoline in them.
Next week we're pouring Four Loko into a tasting glass and
I'm in.
doing it that way.
You make an
That'll
old
be the best
fashioned
video we
with Four
shoot.
Loko.
That'll be the best video we shoot.
I'll beer bong it.
All right, Vinny, put it up to your nose.
Yes.
What do you smell, Vinny?
Bourbon. So the whole reason why I do that is because it allows me to get a little bit more of the taste of it. I don't really smell for anything when I put it up to my nose. It's to really just get more of the taste out of it. So, I mean, all your senses work together. So I figured why not smell it first? It's one of the things that when we were in Napa, they taught us to do with wine, and the whole swirling around is kind of a force of habit. I don't know if it works as much with bourbon, where it changes the flavor as you aerate it a little bit. I'm not sure if it does that or not with bourbon. I know it does with wine, but I don't know. I like it. It makes me look like a fancy boy.
So everything I've read says that to swirl it, let it sit, and then taste it or smell it. But unlike wine is only like 11 to 15%. So when you're sniffing bourbon, they say to do it with an open mouth, inhale
You're
it through your
sniffing
mouth,
bourbon.
sniffing bourbon. Remember we used to smoke bourbon out of those that vapor ball?
We did smoke some bourbon.
Well, Googs, what were you saying?
So I was saying
When you
that
smell it, you have an open mouth.
you have an open mouth and you're supposed to almost breathe it through your mouth and out through your nose. You're not getting a lot of vapors, as you would with your nose. If you sniff it really hard through your nose, you're getting all that alcohol, ethanol vapor. So when you do it, open your mouth, let it kind of flow in that way, and then out through your nose. It's a little less harsh, and it gets your palate kind of ready for the first sip.
I think my palate's been ready since like 8. Maybe
Well,
maybe more like noon.
Closed it out real fast. We would have been drinking an hour ago.
Yeah, I like it.
That's smooth.
Super easy to drink.
I mean,
All right, Googs, what do you taste? What do you taste in there?
I don't know. Being a double oaked, it's not super oaky, and maybe I kind of ruined the palate with the other bourbon I was drinking, because it's definitely a lot smoother. I would say fruity, almost fruity in the beginning, and not super hot, honestly.
You could smell the fruit.
You could. It's really heavy.
I mean, I don't know what fruit, but I smell
Don't.
good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, grapes.
So that sip, it goes down like nicely. Like I'm not like it's not like
No.
a barrel proof. I'm not feeling like a total hug with a barrel proof that I
No.
might get.
No, there's no bite to this one.
Right.
No,
We've been training ourselves with 100 proof plus for a while now.
So I'm going to be honest. I actually like the second sip better than I did the first sip. I feel like it comes off a little. To me, it comes off a little junky. The first sip. When I say junky, I just feel like I'm tasting a little too much. But then when I took the second sip, kind of calmed it down a little bit. Tasted a little bit more like something I would actually sip on. So maybe I just need to drink a lot of it.
Yeah. There's
Don't stop.
That's kind
Don't stop now.
that's part of the tasting. The triple sip, technique. The first one's obviously to sip it, swirl it around your mouth a little bit, kind of get all those flavors, get your brain to like that shock, and then the second, a minute later, you taste it, and then you might get more flavors. And by the time you sip the third time, you eat, you're gonna get the heightened flavor of everything that's in that bourbon. I don't know how they still come up with it, but that's what they say.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Googs is the cultured one here.
Yeah. We need somebody to be.
Yeah.
Why
You know my
Why-
rating scale.
why is smooth and hated adjective? You ever read that like online? Everyone says like I want you to describe it without calling it smooth.
Yeah, I could actually chime into that one because I do like a little bit of a bite. So I think that's one of the reasons why I do gravitate towards the Booker stamp, is it does bite a little bit, even as you might not drink quite like 120 plus proof. It still does bite a little bit too. That's just
I
me.
think I'm
He
not
just likes
there
knowing
yet.
he's drinking.
I think I'm not there yet. So like I'm getting more into that. Like you guys call me out for drinking it on the ice, and I've just now I feel so small and little that I'm drinking it neat more. And
You are small and little.
yeah, but you can't tell everybody that.
You look big on video.
I love blind taste where you just shot all three of them in a row.
I forgot about that. What did I do?
You just lined them up and said blind tasting. Here we go.
I go toasted barrel proof, small batch,
Oh yeah.
3 for 3.
Yeah, you were successful in the blind though. That.
That's not the one that your grandmother was in, was it?
No.
Oh.
We're gonna get her on.
She
at
needs to
some
be.
point.
She needs a special guest appearance.
Yeah, Nana likes her bourbon.
Yeah, we should definitely bring some guests on for this.
Oh yeah. So what's our rating scale now?
Mine's easy. It's a 0 or a 1. This is a 1. It passes. I'll drink it again.
We don't want one for like just a little bit better than a 1.
Yeah, I mean, like, what about
My
like?
basic rating scale. My basic rating scale is that I will drink this again.
All right.
What about? It's not terrible, but I'll go back to it and try it again.
That's it. Ooh, 0.5.
It's a 1. If I go back to it, it's a 1. If I'm
Alright.
not going back to it, it's a 0.
High standards. I love
There are
it.
some zeros.
You don't want to do like 6.25 out of
You
10.
might have heard of this thing called rare breed. Trash.
0.
Poop emoji.
If anybody's on the Facebook page and you
Yeah,
commented
who
on
would
the
have known
Burberry,
that's what's going to get me canceled?
It's urban lovers. If anybody needs to know.
if you did not like that comment about rare breed, don't follow us because you probably won't like anything we say, or follow us if you hate everything we say. Matt, what did you think of the Jim Beam?
It's like lacking flavor, but I think it's good. It's on a 0 to 1, it's a 1 for me, right? When Albert talks me into spending too much money 1 month, I'll buy this the next to counter. You know?
The buffer.
A buffer bourbon. There we go. That's another rate.
Value
Yeah.
pick. Great value pick.
I wish I would have listened to Albert a long time ago in college about Jim Beam products, because I was always kind of a Jack fan, and definitely nothing even close to it.
Close to that.
Yeah, like Jim Beam's not even like close, or vice versa. Jack Daniels isn't even close to Jim Beam, and I know Jack Daniels is a whiskey, so it's really hard to compare because it's not technically a bourbon, but you know. I would say Jim Beam is definitely a lot higher on the scale.
I was drinking gin back in college, so I wasn't even on the whiskey radar.
Oh, I drank
Howard
that.
was drinking gin too. Big beef
I
eaters guy.
drank that. A lot of rum. Whole lot of rum.
Admiral Nelson's
Oh, I just PSD.
vanilla.
Yeah,
Vanilla.
that liter you could get for like $10.
That was big money back then.
Matt, I'm curious, what kind of flavor? I know you said it was lacking flavor. What kind of flavor are you looking for from it?
Dude, I don't know how to describe it.
I wasn't sure if it was something you easily be able to explain, like
That
Like
right
Albert.
there should be clipped and posted right on the front page. We gotta clip that and pin it right on the front page. What kind of flavor are you looking for, dude?
What's the time on that? I'll make sure I mark it down so we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Googs, what's that bourbon we tried that you were keen on the pine? I must have sipped this thing.
Blade and
like-
bow. Blade and
Yeah.
bow.
Yeah. I tried like 10 consecutive sips, like looking for pine, right? No. Like,
You know,
all
I remember that conversation. I stayed out of it.
you know, I don't know what I ate that day too. I don't know if it had to play with,
Is
whatever.
it the South New Hampshire air?
well, he's in New Hampshire just eating pancakes and sipping bourbon with it.
You know,
Everything's tasting
Heisey,
fine.
I think the gluten might have ruined your palate.
Yeah.
That's probably what I had. I probably had a fucking taco that day.
All right, so I'll read what they say about the Jim Beam. This is from Jim Beam. Jim Beam Double Oak is first aged in a newly charred American white oak barrel. Then we pour it into another freshly charred white oak barrel to mature for a second time. The added interaction with the oak results in a liquid intense in flavor and smooth in taste.
What about the taste profile? Does it go into it or no?
No.
No.
Jim Beam we're talking about here.
I don't know.
I like the liquid intense flavor, like it's a solid or something, like it or I'm
Yeah.
doing the vaporizer with you and Googs drinking gases.
No, we smoked gases. You burn the alcohol and then you smoked it.
It was a weird concept. I'm gonna go up and do the what the review is of this. So I'm on the whiskeyjug.com. All right. So it says the nose, oak, caramel, vanilla, toasted corn, toffee, and dark fruit. There's your fruit.
Definitely dark fruit. I did actually get that.
Yeah, I get that too. With some lights of butterscotch, cinnamon, and leather trailing on through. The aroma is definitely the best part of the whiskey. So on the palate, they say there's oak, caramel, dried corn, vanilla, dark fruit, toffee, and kind of like the nose. A little bit of yeastiness. Yeah. And then the finish, long strings of caramel, oak, spice, leather, and frosting slip on by. I don't know, frosting.
Does
Who
it
makes this
help?
shit up?
Does it help that we're hearing it and then sniffing it at the same time? Because usually when I read these things, I'm nowhere near bourbon or something.
Yeah.
I smell a little toffee.
But honestly, didn't they just use like any adjective that
Yes.
Andrew uses and threw them all in? Like it had everything.
It seems like I totally get it, man. That's
He left out vanilla.
vanilla, yeah.
And walnuts.
I feel like a lot of the distinct ones are caramel, oak, and obviously the fruit in this one. But like
I think the dark fruit is actually pretty prominent.
yeah, I
What
mean,
do you smell, Matthew?
Not
The guy to ask that question to.
I mean, I think I'm probably second worst. I actually smell fruit. I really do.
I feel like maybe a little vanilla, but that could go-
whiskey.
I smell bourbon, as Vinnie would say.
Smell bourbon.
I smell bourbon. Yeah. Actually, one of the speakeasies near my house, they had their bartender. Well, actually, I think she's the owner. Made a butter bourbon, which is actually super good. And you want to talk about like butterscotch like flavor is phenomenal. And I guess she used Buffalo Trace melted butter and then froze it for like 24 hours and then scraped off the fat and strained it through a strainer, and you get butter bourbon, and it was phenomenal.
So you're telling me that you can't have bread, but you can have butter, and you're fine. You're good to go.
It's fats, not wheat, bro.
So what's your IPA? You got to have a gluten-free beer, right?
I mean, I've been
Seltzers.
I've been dabbing with the seltzer.
White Claw.
Yeah, I know. I'm shameful of it. Trust me. Don't.
Listen, everybody we freaking hang out with drinks it. I cannot.
I know. I'm shameful of it.
Miller Lite and Labatt Blue.
He loves his Labatt Blue now.
That's it.
I saw you drinking a Bud Light can. Get out of here.
Oh.
Look, man, I'm borderline alcoholic. I'll drink any beer that's given to me.
Was at the wedding your first Labatt?
No,
Okay.
we drink them at Flyers games every time we go. And then there's a bar in Philly that we used to go to that we would drink them at.
You just like letting me know when you're drinking Labatt's.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Respect.
I like Labatt's.
Oh yeah.
Drink that and Moosehead all the time.
Moosehead. I haven't had that in forever.
Yeah, good stuff.
What happened to Bush? Weren't you a big Bush guy?
I was a big Bush guy. Yeah. It's got glue in it.
Oh, Albert, the Mets didn't get swept by the Nationals.
They won that game.
Yeah.
They gave up a grand slam to CJ Abrams. They were losing.
Awesome.
Fuck the Mets.
Yeah. The Nats scored 5 in the top of the 8th to take the lead, and then the Mets scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th to go back ahead.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. O's won too.
Oh,
Phillies won too.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
no.
yeah, 1-0, bro.
Fuck the
I thought you were gonna
Phillies.
drink out of the bat.
Hold
I
on.
was totally for that.
I'm telling you, man, the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to the playoffs, and I should have put that bet in, but Albert told me no.
Nah, a waste of your money.
I
First of all, if Albert tells you no,
I know.
yes.
Yeah.
Fade me.
I'm gonna be honest. These are probably the worst things that they could give out at a Phillies game. So the guy I left with, we were hitting everything with it. We were hitting.
If you
hitting
give
the
any
statue.
object to somebody in Philly, they're gonna hit somebody with it. It could be a
destructive.
Kleenex. They're gonna hit
Hey.
someone with it.
Vinny, I gotta ask you something. Did they grease it before they gave it to you?
I don't know. It was a little slippery. It was sliding out of my hands a little bit.
You have a hard time holding on to anything anyway, so
Never spilled a drink.
it's always a little slippery. I think that wraps up week 1.
Hell yeah, that's a good vid.
Our amateur show. If anybody actually watches this and follows us, thank you very much. This will get better, although I do think it went pretty well the first time. Other than that, we give it a 1.
Remember to smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Only bourbon fans.
Only bourbon fans. Cheers.
The Pappy Van Winkle story. So I'm leaving work and there's a bar on my way home from work and they have on their sign real big, Pappy Van Winkle, Saturday. So I'm thinking, oh shit, they're going to have Pappy Van Winkle there on Saturday, like a tasting or something, or they're going to have like a couple bottles for people to try or something. I call them, said, hey, like, Pappy Van Winkle going on this Saturday. Yeah, you're gonna have to get tickets to come. And I'm like, all right, like, how much are the tickets? And they're like, it's this amount, and the show starts at this time. I'm like, what do you mean the show? It's a band. It's a band called Pappy Van Winkle that this bar is advertising out front. I was so disappointed and so sad when I heard this. I'll never go back to that bar ever again.
That bar and that band sound like assholes.
I hate them. I'll never listen to that band and I'll never go to that bar ever again.
It sounds like a good way to bring people in, right?
Bourbon drinkers, but they're going to be really disappointed and really angry when they get there. I want to know how many bourbon drinkers actually went there that night thinking that they were going to be drinking that. And then we're just super disappointed when they didn't have it.